Hi guys, welcome back to TOEFL with Juva. Today I answer a choice question for task 1 in TOEFL Speaking. I will answer the question exactly as I would do it in the TOEFL. After that, I will tell you guys how you can improve your TOEFL speaking score. By the way, if you want to get more tips for the TOEFL and download templates, hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss the next video. Let's get started. Let's first have a look at the question. The question says, some people enjoy doing activities outside at the weekend. Others prefer staying at home. Which behavior do you think is better? Explain why. This is a choice question. The question asks you which behavior is better. You have to decide whether doing activities outside at a weekend is better or whether staying at home is better. And you have to tell ETS which behavior you think is better. Of course, you have to provide reasons and examples to support your answer. In the TOEFL, you have 15 seconds to prepare your answer and 45 seconds to speak. In the following, I will answer this question exactly as I would do it in a TOEFL. While I am speaking, a speaking template will appear on this side so that you can see how you can apply a speaking template in task 1. After that, I will tell you guys how you can improve your TOEFL speaking score. I hope you're ready, guys. Let's do this. In my opinion, doing activities outside at a weekend is better. I feel this way for two reasons. First, I think that doing activities outside is good for people's health. For example, until a few years ago, I often caught a cold during the winter months because I didn't go outside a lot and thus my immune system wasn't used to harsh weather conditions. However, as soon as I started hiking, my body got used to that and I didn't get a cold as often as before. Second, I believe that being active outside helps people relax. For instance, last weekend I went riding my bike after a very stressful week. When I was looking at the beautiful scenery, I immediately forgot what had happened that week. Consequently, when I returned home, I felt very relaxed. This is my answer to this question. I would answer the question in the TOEFL in this way. And here are my tips for getting a high TOEFL speaking score in task 1. Tip number 1. Answer the question. As I said before, this is a choice question. You have to decide for one side. This is really important. You should not tell ETS, sometimes I think doing activities outside at the weekend is better and sometimes I think staying at home is better. This is not what the question asks you to do. The question asks you, which behavior do you think is better? So this means that you have to pick one side and you have to explain why this option is better. This means you have to provide reasons and examples to support your opinion. Tip number 2, use a template. Guys, when I did the TOEFL speaking task, you saw that I was using a template. I can highly recommend using a speaking template for all tasks in TOEFL Speaking. If you need templates for TOEFL Speaking, check out my video about that. In this video, I explain each task in TOEFL Speaking and I also give you a template for each task in TOEFL Speaking. So if you need that, check out this video. You can find the link in the description below. I think that a speaking template is amazing for 3 reasons. The first reason is that a speaking template usually contains different words. This means that if you memorize a speaking template before taking the TOEFL, you will memorize a broad range of vocabulary. And this is amazing because if you show ETS that you have a broad range of vocabulary, this will improve your TOEFL speaking score considerably. The second reason is that a speaking template is structured in a specific way. And if you want to get a high score in task 1 in TOEFL Speaking, you must use a specific structure. And a speaking template helps you doing that because if you memorize a speaking template before taking the TOEFL and this speaking template has a specific structure. You won't need to think about this structure when delivering your answer. You know the structure, it's in your head. That's why I can highly recommend using a TOEFL speaking template. The third reason is that a speaking template saves you a lot of time. In TOEFL Speaking Task 1, you only have 15 seconds to prepare your answer. This is not much time, and you shouldn't spend this time thinking about how to start your sentences. This is valuable time that you need to focus on the task before you. You must focus on the question. You must think about, how am I going to answer this question? Which reasons will I provide? Which examples will I use? And this means that you don't have the time to think about how you want to start your sentences. And that's why using a TOEFL speaking template is a great help. Tip number 3, structure your answer. Guys, if you want a high score in Task 1 in TOEFL Speaking, you must structure your answer in a specific way. I started with an introduction. I told ETS which behavior I think is better. I told ETS, in my opinion, doing activities outside at the weekend is better. After that, I went on with a transition. The transition leads from the introduction to your reasons and examples. I told ETS that I feel this way for 2 reasons. And this way, ETS knows that I am going to talk about 2 reasons that strengthen my opinion. So ETS knows what I'm going to do next. And that's exactly what I did in the following. I provided 2 reasons and 2 examples for these reasons. My first reason was that doing activities outside is good for people's health. And then I provided a specific example that shows ETS why doing activities outside is good for people's health. I told ETS, look, until a few years ago, I often caught a cold during the winter months, but then I started going hiking on the weekends and I realized that I didn't catch a cold as often as before. So going outside was definitely good for my health. The second reason was that being active outside helps people relax. I told ETS that I went riding my bike last weekend after a very stressful week, and when I returned home, I was very relaxed. If you use this structure, you make sure that you deliver a very clear and well-structured answer. And this will result in a high TOEFL speaking score for Task 1. That's why I can highly recommend structuring your answer in this way. Tip number 4. Use transitions. As you saw in my answer, I used a lot of transitions. For example, I used words like first, second, for instance, or for example. Using transitions boosts your TOEFL speaking score considerably. Why? The first thing is that you show ETS that you have a broad range of vocabulary and that you know how to use these words correctly. The second thing is that transitions help you structure your answer. If I start my sentence with first, ETS knows that I'm going to talk about my first reason. Then I went on with my second reason and I started my sentence with second. This means that ETS knew in that moment that I'm going to talk about my second reason. And I used for example and for instance to talk about my examples. Another important point is that you should use a lot of different transitions. So as you saw in my answer, I used for example and for instance. For example and for instance means the same thing. It shows that I'm going to talk about an example. So this means I could have used for example twice. However, I didn't do that because I wanted to show ETS that I know another expression for example, and this is for instance. So this means by using a lot of different transitions, you show ETS that you have a broad range of vocabulary. So make sure that you use different transitions. And this brings us directly to tip number 5. Use synonyms. If you want a high score in TOEFL speaking, you must absolutely use synonyms. This is really important. Why? Because again, this shows ETS that you have a broad range of vocabulary. So as you saw in my answer, when I talked about my first reason, I said, I think. I think that doing activities outside is good for people's health. And then I talked about my second reason, and I didn't say I think again. I said I believe, because I wanted to show ETS that I know another word for to think, which is to believe. So I said I believe that being active outside helps people relax. So when you deliver your answer for task 1 in TOEFL speaking, make sure that you use a lot of synonyms. Tip number 6, choose the easier side. Guys, when you are doing task 1 in TOEFL speaking, it's reasonable to choose the easier side. What does this mean? First of all, ETS is absolutely not interested in your opinion. They don't care whether you think that doing activities outside at the weekend is better or whether you think staying at home is better. They're only interested in how you can speak in English. This means that when you are reading the question in task 1 in TOEFL speaking, don't think, how does ETS want me to answer this question? It totally doesn't matter how you answer this question. So you should choose the side where you can find more arguments and examples. That's it. This is how you answer a personal choice question in task 1 in TOEFL speaking. If you have any questions or a video wish, tell me about that in the comments below. And if you want to get more tips for the TOEFL and download templates, subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss the next video. I love to see you here next time. Bye bye!